Chris Mackowski of Emerging Civil War, and I'm with Jim Woodrick, showing me around the Vicksburg campaign. I've been having a great time, thank you, by the way. And we are now on the Champion Hill battlefield, at probably the most famous part of the battlefield. I shouldn't even say probably, doubtlessly the most famous part. So where are we at, and what are we looking at?
We're at the Crossroads on the Champion Hill battlefield, which is the crossroads of the Middle Road and the Jackson Road. The Jackson Road obviously refers to the road that goes to the capital city of Mississippi, Jackson, and it crossed over the crest of the Champion Hill, which is why the battle gets its name. Amazing how that works.
Yeah.
And just so you'll know, there's no crest of the hill any longer, because back in the 1920s, that hill was mined for gravel. So unfortunately, it's gone. But the Crossroads is here. And there's some really interesting markers here which describe what took place. Basically, Pemberton's army had responded to the sighting of federal troops to the northeast. They were advancing in the open fields toward Champion Hill with S.D. Lee's men, and it was a seesaw battle here for the control of the Crossroads. Finally, as the crisis moment came, Pemberton called in his shock troops under John S. Bowen. These are the same guys that were down at Port Gibson we talked about earlier. And they launched a counterattack and drove the Federals back across the crest of the hill. But it was just not quite enough. And numbers told, and Crocker's division came back on and pushed Bowen back. After all this fighting, of course, as we know, in the afternoon on May 16, Pemberton's army had to retire from the field after suffering tremendous casualties. And because the road that they entered the battlefield on was blocked, they had to take another route down to cross Baker's Creek and on to Vicksburg. And that will result on May 17 with the Battle of Big Black River Bridge,
which I think we should go check out next. So join us. All right. So real quick, though, a lot of this land has been preserved by the American Battlefield Trust. The Park Service now has ownership. Still lots going on up here. Still lots more to save. How important is it for people to be able to really understand the battle by having more of the property here?
I think it's significant that as of now, if you came here and drove around, you wouldn't be able to see very much. The woods are thick, the foliage is thick. There's hardly any interpretation to tell you where you are. That's going to change because, as you said, a lot of land is now under the ownership of either the National Park Service, the Trust, or the state of Mississippi. And we're seeing the creation of a new battlefield here. And I think in the next 10 years or so, we'll all be able to walk the grounds of this battlefield and understand what happened a whole lot better.
That's going to be so exciting.
It will be.
Now, I know the Trust is working right now to raise more funds, to do some more preservation out here. Check out their site, battlefields.org, so that you can support that effort. One last thing we're going to look at before we leave Champion Hill is the Ed Bars marker, because I know a lot of folks out there, big fans of Ed. He was really instrumental in helping tell this story and set it aside. So we'll take a quick look at that before we leave. But Jim and I are going to head off to the Big Black River. Thanks for being with us here at Emerging Civil War.